and I would like to call the meeting of the Human Affairs Committee to order on Monday, July 13 at 7:01. As chairwoman of the Human Affairs Committee, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of COVID-19 pandemic and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, I'm confirming that we are providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. We are utilizing Zoom, and the meeting link can be found on the agenda as well as in the city's website. You can also join the meeting by telephone by dialing 1-929-205-6099. The meeting ID is 859-8941-0351, and the password is 367534. The public may also view this meeting on Comcast Channel 16. We're providing public notice of the necessary information for accessing the meeting. We previously gave notice to the public of the necessary information for accessing the meeting through public postings. Instructions have been provided on the City of Nashua's website at nashuanh.gov and publicly noticed at City Hall and Public Health Department. We are providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there's problems with access. If anyone has a problem accessing the meeting via phone or channel 16, please call 603-821-2049 and they will help you connect. We would adjourn the meeting if the public is unable to access the meeting. In the event that the public is unable to access the meeting via the methods mentioned, the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled. Please note that all votes that are taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Let's start by taking roll call attendance. When each member states their presence, please also state whether anyone is in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the right to know law. Could the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Harriet Gathright.
I am present. I can hear you. I am alone, and I'm practicing social distancing.
Alderman Karen.
I am here. I am alone, and I am practicing social distancing.
Alderman Clee.
I am here. I can hear you. I'm alone, and I am practicing social distancing.
Alderwoman Kelly.
I'm here and alone. I can hear everyone, and I am practicing social distancing.
And Alderman Wilshire is here. I'm alone, and I am practicing social distancing. We have 5 committee members present.
Lovely. I believe we also have in attendance Director Bagley and Bob Mack. Is that true? Yeah, I don't see anyone else. Did I miss anyone? Great. So we'll call for public comment. Is there any public comment on any of the pieces that we will be discussing this evening? All right, it doesn't look like there's any public on the line. So let's move forward. Communications.
We have received a communication from Carrie Skeena, Urban Programs Manager, regarding the FY20 CAC funding for the Nashua Senior Center. I'd make a motion to accept the communication and place it on file.
Any discussion on that motion? I believe we need to call the roll on that. Oh, sure. Alderwoman Karen.
Oh, thank you. I just wanted to give a little background on this for you as to why the Senior Center was looking for a funding change, if that's okay.
Please, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we were working on doing our update of the personnel manual for our staff. And in the meantime, Margot Bell, our executive director, was working on putting together for a part-time employee to work basically at night and trying to get programs for evening for those people who could not come during the day to the senior center. And unfortunately, the pandemic hit and everything closed up, and obviously we could not hire anyone. And so because we have no rentals, we have no classes going on at the moment, Margot had asked if she could write a letter to the CAC to see if they would allow the senior center to take that money of 11,000 plus and utilize it for operations towards the pandemic and the things they need to be able to open up, hopefully within the next 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Karen. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Okay, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Harriet Gathright,
Yes.
Alderman Karen,
Yes.
Alderman Clee,
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly,
Yes.
and Alderman Wilshire votes yes. We have 5 yeas, 0 nays.
That motion passes. Unfinished business.
We have none.
New business resolution.
We have resolution 20-44 relative to the acceptance and appropriation of an additional $377,873.50 from the state of New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services into transit grant activity, Federal Transit Authority operating grant. I'll make a motion for final passage of resolution 20-44.
Motion is for final passage. Is there discussion on that motion?
One of the emails he
I'll
got was
second
very
it.
interesting. I
Do
thought
we
it
need to
sounded
second
like a
it?
good idea. It talked about parental choice.
Can someone
So,
mute?
what are the cons to parental choice?
How about everybody mute? Okay. Don't know what that was. I did speak with Director Marchand. She's unable to join us this evening, but she said this is one that comes up every 2 years and that the funds are from the Bureau of Adult and Elderly Services, and it allows the seniors to ride for a fixed price for free. So, sorry, fixed route for free. That's what I meant to say. So there's no changes. It's just a every 2-year thing. Alderwoman
I would
Harry
like-
Gathright.
I would like to be a sponsor for that bill as well. I just noticed that my name was not on there.
Okay, perfect. We can make that adjustment. Is there any other discussion? I don't see anybody. Okay, do you want to call the roll, please, Alderman Wilshire?
Yes. Alderman Harriet Gathright,
Yes.
Alderman Karen,
Yes.
Alderman Clee,
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly,
Yes.
and Alderman Wilshire votes yes. We have 5 yeas, 0 nays.
That motion passes.
Next, we have resolution 20-45 relative to the acceptance and appropriation of $190,000 from the state of New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services CARES Act funding into Public Health and Community Services grant activity FY 2020 Public Health Crisis Response. I'll make a motion for final passage to recommend final passage of resolution 2045.
All right, the recommendation is for final passage. I believe Director Bagley is here to speak on this.
Yes, thank you. This is a COVID response funding opportunity for us, and it is money that will go into our Public Health Network Services grants. It is money that will allow for us to pay for any expenses incurred from March 16th of this fiscal year till March 16th of fiscal year 21. And this is going to allow for COVID activities related to case investigation, contact tracing, to buy supplies that are needed, equipment, as well as to support any additional per diem or employees that we hire on to help with some of the response to COVID-19.
Thank you for that explanation. Does anyone have questions for Director Bagley or want to discuss anything additional on this motion? All right. June, I don't see you, so if you're raising your hand, I can't see it.
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
Can the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Harriet Gathright,
Yes.
Alderman Karen,
Yes.
Alderman Clay,
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly,
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire votes yes. We have 5 yeas, 0 nays.
And that motion carries.
We have resolution 20-46, relative to the acceptance and appropriation of $159,460 from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development CARES Act funding into public health and community services grant activity, housing opportunities for persons with AIDS. I'll make a motion for final passage of resolution 2046.
Motion on the floor is for final passage. Director Bagley, would you like to speak to this one as well?
I actually, Bob Mack, who is our welfare officer who administers this contract, will speak to this, please.
Okay.
Good evening. This is Bob Mack. Can you hear me?
We can hear you just fine, thanks.
Okay, terrific. I am, as Director Bagley said, I'm the welfare officer for the city of Nashua, part of the Division of Public Health and Community Services. This funding is funding from the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act from the federal government to the city in support of clients that are part of our HOPWA, Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS grant. We would be contracting with the Southern New Hampshire HIV and AIDS Task Force to administer the services around this funding. They have been our partner for many, many years with the HOPWA grant. And so they are in a perfect position serving this client population to administer this grant. It would be providing essential services, supplies, basic needs for a lot of their clients, as well as transportation services, possible temporary lodging if there's any sort of need for isolation, quarantine, and personal protective equipment. And this grant can also serve not only the clients that are part of the city's HOPWA grant program, but some of the other clients that Southern New Hampshire HIV and AIDS Task Force serves as well. I don't know if there are any questions. Thank you very much.
Are there any questions for the committee? Okay, will the clerk please call the roll? Thank you, Bob.
Alderman Harriet Gathright,
Yes.
Alderman Karen,
Yes.
Alderman Clay,
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly,
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire votes yes. We have 5 yeas, 0 nays.
And that motion carries.
Thank
Next, we have resolution 2047, relative to the acceptance and appropriation of $162,000 from the state of New Hampshire's Department of Health and Human Services into public health and community services grant activities, FY21 and FY22 HIV Prevention Grant. I'll make a motion for final passage of resolution 2047.
Okay. Motion on the floor is for final passage. Director Bagley, did you want to talk about this one?
Sure, thank you. Bobby Bagley, Director of the Division of Public Health and Community Services again. This is funds that will support the HIV prevention activities that we do in the community, which is counseling and testing, as well as outreach to help identify individuals who are at risk for or who have contracted HIV. It allows for us to work with our partners in the community to reduce the spread of this infectious disease. This is money that comes from the Department of Health and Human Services under our for our community health department.
Perfect. Any questions from the committee? Would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Harriet Gathright,
Yes.
Alderman Karen,
Yes.
Alderman Clee,
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly,
Yes.
Alderman Wiltshire votes
Did you
yes. We
hear
have
me?
Yeah,
5
we heard
yeas,
you.
0 nays.
And that motion carries.
Next, we have Resolution 2048, relative to the acceptance and appropriation of $99,000 from the State of New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services into Public Health and Community Services Grant Activities FY21 and FY22 STD Prevention Grant. I'll make a motion for final passage of Resolution 2048.
Motion on the floor is for final passage. Is there discussion on that motion? No. Director Bagley, this looks like it's similar to the previous one, something we do every year.
This
Yeah.
is something we do every year for the prevention of STD infections. Allows for us to hold clinics and to do exams for folks that present with signs and symptoms of STD. And so it is a grant that we get every year for the city of Nashua.
Thank you for repeating every year what it's for. I appreciate it. All right. Clerk, would you like to call the roll, please?
Certainly. Alderman Harriet Gathright,
Yes.
Alderman Karen,
Yes.
Alderman Clee,
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly,
Yes.
Alderman Wiltshire votes yes. We have 5 yeas, 0 nays.
And that motion carries.
We have Resolution 20-49, relative to the acceptance and appropriation of $97,500 from the State of New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services into Public Health and Community Services Grant Activities FY21 and FY22 Immunization Program of Greater Nashua. I'll make a motion for final passage of Resolution 2049.
The motion is for final passage. Is there any discussion on that motion? Everybody's so quiet tonight. I actually have a question. I assume this is our annual immunization program. If there is a COVID immunization within this, will you use this or will you use additional funds?
Alderwoman.
Yeah.
Kelly?
Yeah.
Alderwoman Kelly. This is for immunizations that we provide annually for our flu and childhood vaccinations. When we do get our COVID vaccination, there will be additional funds to cover that. So this is for the childhood vaccinations and adult vaccinations that we do regularly.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Does the committee have any additional questions? All right. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Harriet Gathright,
Yes.
Alderman Karen,
Yes.
Alderman Clee,
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Wiltshire votes yes. We have 5 yeas, 0 nays.
And that motion carries.
Next, we have Resolution 20-50, relative to the acceptance and appropriation of $52,500 from the State of New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services into Public Health, and Community Services Grants Activities FY21 and FY22 Tuberculosis Program of Greater Nashua. I'll make a motion for final passage of Resolution 20-50.
The motion is for final passage. Is there any discussion on that motion? Would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Harriet Gathright,
Yes.
Alderman Karen,
Yes.
Alderman Clee,
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly,
Yes.
Alderman Wiltshire votes yea. Yes, we have 5 yeas, 0 nays.
And that motion carries.
Next, we have Resolution 2051, relative to the acceptance and appropriation of $45,000 from the State of New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services into Public Health and Community Services Grant Activities FY21 and FY22 Healthy Homes and Lead Poisoning Case Management. I will make a motion for final passage of Resolution 20-51.
Motion on the table is for final passage. Does the committee have questions or discussion on this motion? I actually have a quick question. You may not be able to answer it, but I'm going to be hopeful here, or maybe it'll come off as not knowing what I'm talking about. But if lead paint has been outlawed, at what point do we finally not need this program anymore?
Well, I mean, lead in paint has been removed for quite a while. We do have a lot of older housing in New Hampshire and in Nashua. And so until all of those homes, there has been some remediation to remove all the lead from all of our older homes. Then we won't need this anymore, but that has not happened. And so as we continue to work towards doing education, health promotion around lead exposure in the homes, we will continue to administer these activities with home visits once kids are identified through blood testing, unfortunately for lead poisoning.
I appreciate that, and thank you for indulging my question. I appreciate that you guys do this hard work every year. Just looking for a time where we don't have lead paint anymore. All right. If there's no other discussion, then I will have the clerk please call the roll.
Alderman Harriet Gathright.
Yes.
Alderman Karen.
Yes.
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire votes yes. We have 5 yeas, 0 nays.
And that motion carries. Wow, are we through all of them? I have new business ordinances.
We have none.
Tabled in committee.
None.
General discussion. Nobody?
May I?
Go ahead. You sure can. Alderman Karen.
Okay. Thank you. Since Director Bagley's on the phone, I just want to thank her and her group for going to the National Senior Center last week and doing a walkthrough with staff and giving them some good information so that we can open safely in 2 weeks. And we really, really appreciate all the time and effort that you put in helping us out. And I, as a member of the board of directors, I want to thank you personally.
Very welcome, Alderman Karen. And I will let the staff know that you acknowledge their help and support. We look forward to doing what we do. So thank you.
That's great. Is there any other general discussion from the committee? None? Public, I don't see any on here unless someone snuck on while we were chatting. So no second public comment. Are there any remarks by the alderman? I'm not seeing anybody. There's no non-public. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
The motion is to adjourn. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Harriet Gathright.
Yes.
Alderman Karen.
Yes.
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire votes yes. We have 5 yeas, 0 nays.
And thank you for everyone for being on. Director Bagley, Mr. Mack, and everyone have a great night.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You too. Talk to you
Bye-bye.
tomorrow.